Okay, I want to piggyback off of this duet. I want to specifically point out the issue about extrinsic rewards, right? Because a lot of people are anti-ABA because like, oh, they work on giving them rewards. But you guys are missing those proactive steps prior. In order to change behavior, you have to motivate somebody. Like, you go to work for a check. You're motivated for money because you have needs that you need to make money to pay for your bills. You need to understand the perspective of the learner. The learner has 6.5 hours to tolerate. Okay? They need to tolerate school for 6.5 hours a day, 5 days a week, until they're 22. So for learners that have a very hard time getting through tasks because they need accommodations and modifications because of their disabilities or the way that their brain thinks, since it's outside of the typical norm because they're neurodivergent. Yeah. When those needs are not met, their motivation to get through a worksheet is very low because it's too much effort for them. They need the support. And when that learner is on a lower grade level than the typical classroom, what do you think is going on? Because the teacher can't teach 4 different curriculums if she's got 4 kids in IEPs that have a specific way to be taught, but they're in the typical classroom and it's typical grade math class going on. So you see what I mean? How can she modify the math class and have her IEP students that are supposed to be in the classroom for that time when she's teaching a concept way over their head? So in order to motivate them and to get through things, you have to modify. If they have a one-to-one, you have to motivate them by building their tolerance by using the token board. And guess what? They get to choose what they're going to work for because they're going to get a break after they start building tolerance. The token board is for them to build tolerance to last at least a whole class. These kids can't last. Token boards last about 5 minutes. And if you strategically shape them, usually you have like a 5-1 token board or a 10. 5, 10, and for the little learners, 1, 2, or 3. The whole point is you're going to start with a FR1 schedule, which means every single one thing that they do, they're getting reinforced for it because we need to motivate them and like let them know like, oh, this is how this token board works. You do that. Look, you did 5 things immediately. No behaviors. Hello. No behaviors is the key point. We want them to have 0 behavior. So you need to do the token board quick so that they could contact that reinforcement and be like, oh, this is how that thing works. That was quick. I got to go play on the iPad. I got to go play with these Lego blocks. I got to go play a video game. All for doing that. Oh my God, yeah, look, and the timer, let's go back and do a little bit more. And then you see what I mean? You start shaping it. That is to get them to get through their day. So we're building their tolerance by shaping their tolerance by using a token board and having to use these extrinsic motivators to get them through it because they can't. Think about it. Think about a kindergartner, a first grader with autism and ADHD in the classroom, and he's bored because the work is not on his level. So he's going to engage in behavior. I had a student say, like, I'm bored. This is boring. And I'm like, I know. We just have to listen. All right, like, let's pull out this color. Let's color in between. You should have a coloring book or a little notepad if you have a kid with ADHD, just for that reason, because they usually get through the work done fun, fast, or it's too boring. So, and also, it could be stimulating for them. They could be soothed, chill, waiting for, look at this girl. So, just like you put in work to get reinforced, they have to put in work and get reinforced because they have to learn at school. They have an IEP. They have goals to accomplish. Okay? So, when you say we're using outside rewards to get them to comply, no, we're building their confidence. We're building their insecurities up. We're reinforcing them to get through their work. Like, look, oh my God, you almost done. One more problem. Wow, I told you could get through it. We're shaping them to knowing that they could get through their day. And guess what? Oh my God, I told you could get through it. Look, now it's the last one. Just got to put the circle at the end, because not only are we teaching them to maintain their behavior, but also to build their education and understand by teaching them the way that they need to be taught. So, yeah. And when they say like, oh, so why are you going to use sensory toys against them? They should have access to that all the time. Of course they do. We have stimulus control. They have the sensory things that are specifically for their desk for that specific moment. And then we have other motivators, like 10 different other options, because we need to motivate him for 6.5 hours of his day. So he needs options. So he won't get satiated off one. And that you condition one to always be the one that he can always have access to. He can't have access to everything. You have to be, he gets a certain amount of stimulus control. You want to set it, because if you start using the different environments, then he's not going to be reinforced. So as long, he only uses that one in his desk when he's at the desk and he needs it. Otherwise, he's playing, having fun, and using the other ones for fun. So it is very much neurodivergent affirming, because we understand the sensory issues that they have, and we're providing them options and outsources and ways to cope with it. We're teaching them emotional regulation. You sleepy? We're providing the modifications and the accommodations that they need to be successful, like visual schedules, modeling. We're showing them and encouraging them and giving them all the positive reinforcement that they need, because a lot of our kids need more attention, because they lose attention quick and things become boring quick. So in the meantime, we're building these skills and building their confidence. And since they need to have attention all the time, you're practicing conversation skills. Literally. It's like you're going to school to chill out with your little best friend and help them be successful. Like, it's the best job ever. And you're letting them learn and advocating on behalf of them while they're in the school. Like, hello to other people, to students. You're encouraging that social peer relationship as a one-to-one, as obviously the adult. You sleepy. You want that? She wanted her book. So they used to be like, oh, how old is she? I'm like, oh, ask her. She talks. And I'm like, oh, how old are you? And then she'd have the opportunity to connect. You know what I mean? Like, oh, do you want to play so-and-so? I'm like, oh, I'd always ask. If they asked me, then I would ask my learner and be like, oh, so-and-so wants to play with us. Do you want to play? And then she'd decide, and that's affirming. She decided yes or no. And sometimes she said no. I'm like, okay, do you want to go sit on the bench? And we go sit on the bench. And then I try to get her to see, like, oh, do you want to go balance on the beam or whatever? I try to encourage her, but like, if she want to chill and sit, she could chill and sit. You see what I mean? They don't need to be engaged in play all the time, especially if they decide that they don't want to. But you're always going to provide them opportunities. Maybe they change their mind. You see what I mean? What you want to do is promote them and show them how to advocate for themselves, and remind them and prompt them throughout life of there's so many different things, contingencies in the natural environment that it's not considered for a program. Like, oh, if she gets goosebumps, let's tell her, oh, you see these little bumps on your hand? That means you're cold. We got to wear a sweater. Look, if you're cold, you just put a sweater on, okay? Even when it comes to like clothes, or like zipping up the clothes, or the position of things, or making sure when they leave the bathroom, the pants are up a certain way, they're not slit, or the underwear is picking up on the side, like the dignity part. How to blow your nose, like little incidental things that happen in the natural environment. How to navigate the lockers, like that doesn't need to be a program. It can be a program, but that's something that you would teach naturally, because she's going to be contacting that. She's going to master it eventually. So it's like, if it's something that you could shape throughout the time, and like, you get to mastery, then don't make it a program. There's enough things to have to teach throughout the natural day on top of the regular programs.